everyone. Welcome to Cups and Conversations. This is season 1, episode 11. We are almost done with this year. Thank you all for joining us for every episode. We greatly appreciate it. Clap it up for yourselves for showing up with us for every episode. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cups and Conversations is nothing without you. Who will we pour into? So, this episode, we are focusing on, of course, it is November, so it's Thanksgiving. Also, Veterans Day was this month. So we are going to be talking to a guest that is a veteran and can shine some light on what that's about and what he is doing in the community. And then also just being thankful for the resilience that we have in the different stages, because we also have a guest that is an author and a content creator. And they are fabulous people that are coming on tonight just to share with you different stages and different scenes of life. So thank you so much for our guests that have come on the show tonight. And thank you all for watching. Welcome to Cups and Conversations. So we are going to start with our first guest. And this guest, I call him brother because that's just what he is to me. Now, I don't know if I'm ready to share him with y'all on a brother level, but tonight he can definitely introduce himself as he is a playwright. Isn't that amazing? He's a playwright. So he writes plays, he writes books, he writes all kinds of stuff, and he has an amazing personality. So I'm going to share with you tonight my brother, Daryl Scooter Davis.
Oh, I love that.
Brother, introduce yourself and tell us what's in your cup.
All right. Hey, everybody, how you doing? I hope to share over the course of this, everything that's in my cup. But my name is Daryl Anthony Davis. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Um, I did about 20 years in the Navy and now work as an information system specialist up at the La Jolla Playhouse. Outside of that, I am a playwright, I am a photographer, a music artist, and I am a father and somebody who also deals with mental issues of my own.
Tell us what's in your cup, brother. What's in your cup?
Oh, right now at this particular moment, just water.
Next, we have our next guest. I tell you, you can already tell that this podcast episode is going to be amazing because there is so much personality on here, right? He just seems interesting, don't he? He seems real interesting, right? I know. So, coming up next, our second guest, her name is Natasha Brooks. And I am telling you, she has been a mentor in my life since I was about 20, 21. And I'm telling you, I'm 39 now, proud to say. So she has been mentoring me for a long time. She is a phenomenal woman. She is a content creator. As I said, she has her own podcast. She also has her own, she also has some books. So she will share that with you tonight as well. So now we will introduce Natasha. Natasha, introduce yourself and tell us what's in your cup.
Well, good evening, and I am so happy to be with you all this evening. Thank you, Daryl, for inviting me. I just love and adore you, and I thank you for sharing your platform with me. So I'll tell you what's in my cup. First off, you're going to love Natasha.
Yes!
Is my name. I'm confident. I am magic. I'm beautiful. I'm powerful. I'm loved, and I'm strong.
Yes,
and I
you
am
are.
drinking some Joe. Usually I start my day with a good hot cup of Joe, but I wanted to make sure I had extra energy for you all this evening. So I poured myself a cup of Joe. And I will also add a few other things, Dara, that I have on the side of me today, because also in my cup daily, I walk around with a few things. And so I have
Okay.
this beautiful pink rose that I wanted to share with everybody, because sometimes you need to just stop and smell the roses, right? We get so busy. We're always on the go and doing things. And I've learned how to stop and smell the roses. And so while I'm drinking my cup of joe in the morning, that's what I'm doing, is enjoying the moment. And usually I have a good book. And it's so interesting, Dara, that you talked about mentor. I picked this one in particular for this show because we need mentors, but we also need sponsors. So I'm an advocate reader. I am all about education, continuous learning, being a lifelong learner. So this is a really good book that I'll share with you all. If you haven't read it, go out and get it. And then the last thing is, life can get tough, and it's life, and sometimes, and we get lemons.
Yes.
And sometimes I just need some lemonade. So when it gets tough, remember, take a lemon, make some lemonade, enjoy it, and the rest will fall where it may. So it's great to be with you all. As Dara said, I am an author. I'm also an HR professional. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. And I am a proud Nana, a grandmother to two beautiful granddaughters. I'm a sister, an aunt. And again, I'm just so happy to be with you all this evening.
All right. I'm going to bring everybody back on. Everybody back on. Hey, everybody. Let's get into
No.
it. These people are awesome, and I'm going to allow them to talk about how awesome they are. So, talk to us about how you got into playwright, Daryl.
Um, well, for me, playwriting, I I got into it. I want to say by accident, if that makes any sense. I have been working at the Playhouse for about 3 or 4 years, and I just never put the two together. And a good friend of mine, we were just talking, doing what we do, and I had come up with this idea that I thought would be funny because it was like right around 2020, and we were all talking about, especially us growing up in the hood, we was talking about how it's going to be interesting now that it's okay for everybody to wear a mask. And I distinctly remember in the 90s where they started making those rules about going in the banks where you couldn't have your face covered, you couldn't have anything over your eyes or any of that stuff. And I started thinking, well, wouldn't that be interesting if, a place got robbed during the pandemic because nobody's really checking for anybody. And we just started spitballing and talking. And he said, well, why don't you just write a play? And I said, man, I ain't never wrote no play. What do you mean just write a play? And he's like, you work at the Playhouse. How have you not thought about this? And at that moment, I felt stupid because I was like, I don't know why I haven't thought about this. It was weird. You know what I'm saying? It was a weird thing. And so I was like, let me go, let me go check it out. Let me see what that would be like. And I talked to one of my coworkers, and he said, yeah, just send me what you got, and I wrote down what I thought a play would look like, and sent it to him. And I got very, very positive feedback, which literally validated me. You know, there had been another coworker who had been telling me for 2 years, "Hey, you should come get this playwriting workshop," and I was like, it just never thought to myself that that would be something that I would be interested in doing. Um, so finally, I said, yes, I'll do it. And about 7 workshops later, I was so entrenched in writing the plays that was just all I was doing for quite some time. And then different opportunities started to present themselves. And so, outside of going through a workshop with the Playhouse where I work, I was also invited twice by the old Globe Theater in San Diego, to be a part of 2 of their workshops and get a couple of stage readings there. So it started happening a little, like, oh, okay, here's this thing that I didn't think that I was going to be doing anything with. Um, and so far to date, the biggest thing that happened was in the summer this year, they offered me an opportunity to do a level 3 workshop, which included a lot more resources, where they gave me a director and they gave me my own stage manager, got the actors together, and we were able to, well, I was able to attend rehearsals and work the script. And instead of just a normal stage reading for the playwrights, it was where it was just 10-minute table read. This turned into a 1 hour, 1 act. So I was able to pretty much put on a full production um, as a reading with an audience and everything, and got to actually see my work come to life a little bit. So getting into it is honestly a matter of doing it. And that is one of the things that I've learned along the way when it comes to the stuff that we don't think about. If you want to do something, you just do it, you know. Yeah,
I tell people all the time, just do it afraid, but do it.
just do it. And that is, I mean, I know I sprinkled some, here's what happened and here's what happened, but at the end of the day, that's what happened. I just decided to do it after, believing that I could.
I love it. I love it. That's the key. Believing that you can. I love it. And who better? I think the most interesting stories and movies come from the most creative people, the people that are just like, hey, I'm just going to try it. I don't know what's going to turn out, what it's going to be, but I'm going to try it and we're going to see what happens. It's like curveball after curveball after curveball. Like, I'm just going to catch them and let's see what happens.
It really is. It is a thing of lived experience, but it is a thing of what we all consider art, and people will say all the time, people have their own thing about, what's good, what's bad. And the beautiful thing about art is it's subjective, completely and totally. You know, I'm one of those people who love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. But if I show somebody Star Wars today, the original, they'd be like, what is this long garbage? This is terrible. But I understand that it's subjective, you know. And I learned that art is about evoking emotion.
Yes.
I would rather somebody look at or watch a play that I wrote or read a script that I wrote, look at one of my photographs and music I made, any of that stuff, and say, "Oh, that's terrible," versus going, "That's okay." You know, terrible is something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It gives you something to
There's
work
something
with,
about
right?
it that right. Okay, you did not like this. So if I can find somebody who doesn't like something that I did so strongly, then there's somebody who's going to absolutely love it.
Yes.
Without question.
Yes.
Without question. Somebody is going to be like, you crazy as hell. That is very, very nice. So that's the way that I kind of, work my art now. I don't I'm more upset with the person who was like, it's okay. Because then I'm like, oh,
Right.
this is terrible. I got to do something with
Yeah.
this. Because
Yeah.
there's nothing, I need to make you feel something,
Something.
and disgust is a something.
It is. It is. It is. I love it. I love
So,
it.
yeah.
Tasha, let's jump into you. Talk to us about Little Sugar Plums and talk to us about your book. Let us know what happened. Where'd that come from?
Well, similar to Scooter, I love the arts, right? And I am a creative at heart. And I've been so throughout my entire life. Even when I was younger, many people don't know, but I used to design costumes and outfits. And I really thought I was going to be a costume designer or a fashion designer when I was younger, but I've just always enjoyed it. But being a mother and working, goodness gracious, we know that it takes so much time from us. And so in my younger years, when I had younger children, I wasn't able to do as much as I'm able to do now that I have a little bit more free time. And I love children. I volunteered throughout, my entire career and always giving back. And when I enjoyed volunteering the most was when it was dealing with children. And so I decided as a grandparent, I wanted to create a line for children and for grandmothers where they could be celebrated. And that was the evolution of my Nana book collection. And I have some other books that I'm working on currently. And then as far as the content creation of Little Sugar Plums, my granddaughters and my nieces and nephews, I don't know about you all, but it's like once they get in front of those screens, they become zombies.
Yes.
They don't hear anything. They don't see anything. They are completely engulfed in the screens. And so I said I wanted to create something that was educational to pull them in where they were learning at the same time. And that's where Little Sugar Plum came in. And so I do have a lot of work to do from a marketing aspect, but I'm really excited. Like Scooter said, I started afraid. I don't have the whole picture of how this is going to end, but I wanted to start somewhere and we'll figure it out along the way.
Yes, we will figure it out along the way. See, I tell people all the time that a plan doesn't have to be 26 steps or 26 bullets. You can have a plan that starts with one. All I know is that I needed to write a play. That's the plan. All I know is I needed to start Little Sugar Plums. That was the plan. Everything else is going to come. A lot of people don't even get started because they're like, oh, I don't know. It's so much fear that builds up, right? It's so much fear that builds up because it's like, oh, I don't know A through Z. Well, start with A and B.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. As the generation above us used to say all the time, you got to get down. You can't be afraid to just do the thing, And I believe that, our society is real good at funneling us, where it wants us to be or where it believes we should be, one way or another, and we all kind of do it to each other, I have a really, really good friend who has a beautiful voice. I mean, good Lord, it's amazing, but she never wanted to sing. She wanted to rap. She wanted to rap. But everybody heard that beautiful voice and was like, the Lord said, and it was always the thing, and it was one of those things where it kind of canceled out, her dream, so to speak, because it was a thing of, well, we don't think that this gift is as good as this gift. So we all want to push this gift, and we mean well. We all do, that's just people, we want to see others succeed, some of us. But, when we encourage others, in most times it comes from a good place. But when we get around other people, it comes from a people place,
Yes.
A group place of thought, versus just my singular idea. And going against the grain doesn't feel comfortable. And we wind up pushing people into directions they would probably never go, and sometimes that works out for them and sometimes it doesn't. But I think it robs the person of their own authenticity.
I love that. I agree. I definitely agree. Now think about it on the aspect. I'm just going to go off of what you just said in regards to pushing people or seeing something in somebody, the potential, should I say, and like you said, it can go both ways. Sometimes it can be a good and they're like, whoa, I didn't know that was in me, right? And then you got that other side where it's like, oh, I did know that was in me, but I didn't want anybody else to know it was in me, So with you all being creative, when it comes to you getting ideas and formulating your ideas, is that something you pretty much do solo in the beginning? Because I know sometimes when you're creating, you have the opinions of others. How does that affect you when it comes to being creative, the outside voices? Let's talk about the outside voices.
That's a good one. But and I'll start if you don't mind, Scooter, because
Yes, please.
a lot of my ideas, to be honest with you, come during prayer and quiet time. So it's like, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and it could be, an old memory, that comes up. It could be a picture that I'm looking at. It could be a prayer that I'm saying, and then a thought comes to my head. And then I have to grab a pen or I grab my phone and I immediately start putting my notes down. And then, I start thinking more about the idea. And the next thing it's formulated. And it's like, oh my goodness, like it comes together, authentically. And so that's kind of how a lot of my ideas usually come about is during quiet time, prayer, and then it evolves into something greater.
Okay, I love it. And this helps people. Anyone that's listening, if you are a person that's out there and you don't know how to tap into your creativity, that's what this is for. This is for you to be able to hear other people that didn't know the full plan, that didn't know, but took a chance. And the chance turned out to be something amazing. Sometimes we are robbing ourselves of the greatest chance of our life, the greatest opportunity of our life because we won't step out on faith. Because, and even if you're not a person that believes in faith, because you won't take a chance, just because you won't take a chance, sometimes you not taking that chance can keep you stagnant, can keep you in a place where you're like, I don't know what to do with my life. Oh, there's plenty for you to do with your life. There's opportunity that presents itself every single day that we just don't take advantage of. Go ahead, Scooter. Tell us about your creativity and the outside noises.
Um, I'm a little different. And by a little different, I mean my ideas come from whatever makes me laugh. That's where everything starts.
Yes.
Everything starts from something that would make me laugh. And, um, you know, the play that I was able to put on a couple months ago was called The Pontification and Plunder of the Pantheon.
Okay.
And it started because I was looking at Greek and Roman mythology and everything and, exploring all that stuff. Then I thought it would be really, really funny if Zeus decided to sue Jupiter for identity theft. I just thought that was hilarious. I mean,
I
whole
love it.
purpose, the whole point of the Roman pantheon was after Rome conquered Greek, they didn't really change much. They just left everything the same. They just changed the majority of the gods. Instead of calling Zeus Zeus, they started calling him Jupiter. And, and went from there. The only one they didn't change was Apollo. And I just thought that was hilarious. And it just evolved into an idea about the patriarchy and what it means to hold on to power and relinquish power. And as it started out about Zeus and Jupiter, it ended up about Athena and Juno
Mm.
finding their way and, becoming, or better yet, finding their own power in their situation, you know. So it was interesting, but it all starts with something that'll make me laugh. I have no control over what gives me a giggle, but once it does, if it is a significant enough giggle, I will write it down and I will turn that into an idea because I figure if it makes me laugh, I will figure out a way to make somebody else laugh.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Listen, people, watchers, anybody that's taking your time tonight to spend it with us, If you are loving the podcast so far, go ahead, like, subscribe, and bang that bell so you don't miss any content. These two guests are awesome. Go ahead and leave some comments if there's anything that you want to share. They will tell you how to reach them and how to contact them later on. So that way, if you need to reach them or contact them because maybe you're struggling or you don't have that support system around you that tells you that you can do this, you may need to talk to them because obviously they didn't care about whether people were saying yes or no. It was a decision that they made on their own and they just went for it. So sometimes we can't wait on people around us to tell us, oh, that sounds good. Or no, I wouldn't do it that way because their vision is not your vision. What they see is not what you see. And what is given to you is given to you. What's for you is for you. So we are going to move on to the next segment of the show. It is game time. Get your paddles ready, your thumbs up, your thumbs down. We are about to get it started. It's game time. All right, yes. So since you two both are into storytelling and being creative, question one, first question. Have you ever thought about who your favorite character or villain is? Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, yes, let's hear about it. Who is your favorite character or villain? Like, who would you feel like you would be? If you played in your own movie or story as a character or villain, who would it be? Scooter?
If I was a character, it would definitely be Willow from the 1988 movie Willow. Um, I love everything about that movie. That idea of relating to a short person navigating, this big world, and even among short people, he was looked at as not the guy, you know what I mean? And he had these huge dreams of being something a little better, a little bit bigger, something magnificent, and he gets out in the world and it's a lot bigger than him. And even with that, he still perseveres and does what it is that he needs to do, I also, enjoy the fact that, he did that for the love of a child that was not his own. You know what I'm saying? And that is really high on. That's like I believe that is the ultimate sacrifice. To decide to join a village. And offer what you can. In those situations. So to any of those individuals who have showed up and found you a mate, a partner that already has little ones around, and you stick around and you help be a part of that village. Nobody can take anything away from you, no matter how it.
Love
That's how I
it.
feel. That is my absolute. That is my favorite character. Now, do you want Natasha to say something before I talk about the villain?
Yes, jump into talk about the character first, and we're gonna come back to that villain because I want to hear it. Go ahead, Tasha.
So I'm gonna say Scooter is deep, right? Mine is Catwoman.
Okay, Catwoman. Woo!
And I love it because she's sensual but yet strong at the same time. And I think women can be both. And so
Yes.
that's why I love that character. Scooter is
Yes.
deep on me today. So I'm going to leave it there.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yes. Okay, villain. Talk to us about the villain.
Oh goodness. All right. So I thought about, the villain thing a lot because there's a different way to look at a villain. Villain that I appreciate as doing the villain stuff, or the type of villain that I would be. I honestly believe that the type of villain that I would be the villain that Sam Jackson was in the movie The Kingsman. Um, he was, doing bad things, but he couldn't stomach the bad stuff. So there's a moment where he, is in a disagreement and he decides that he's going to shoot somebody himself. And he shoots the guy and goes, "She got God, is it?"
and it just, but it's like, yeah, I never want to do that again. It completely freaks them out, you know what I mean? And I think that's the type of villain I could be. I could be a hands off, string pulling villain from way back where I'm not involved in any of the stuff. I can't be the up close villain. I don't want calluses. I get nervous in situations. I be done peed on myself. It won't work out with people with me if I'm trying to do villainy and with people around. I just I'm not I am not built for that. None of it. So yeah, way back from the distance with the money, sitting at the table, you know, that is it. Yeah, if I had to be anybody, I want to be the whisper guy.
Okay.
When every time there's a villain, there's some dude who walks up and goes, and then the guy goes, what? She's such and such on the phone. And then I want to just back on up. That's the villain I want to be. I want to be that guy who just.
Okay, the whispering villain. You go ahead and be Mr. Whisper. Are you Mr. Whisper? And that is a villain, y'all. Mr. Whisper is a villain. He's not a cat. I know it sounds like a cat. Like Mr. Whisper, not Whisper. Whisper. That's a villain. All right.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
So, villain, I don't know if there's I don't know if there's a villain that I want to be, but because I just recently watched The Joker, I have to say I definitely would bring him into this conversation. And the reason why is because even while we talk about resilience, right, today, is that there's always a backstory that could, right, be the reason why people end up the way they are. And sometimes people don't take the time to really understand what's happened to folks in their lives that turned them into a villain. It's like they didn't start out that way, but there are things that have happened that have resulted in them being who they are. And I just enjoyed that story. I enjoyed watching it, listening, seeing it come to life, and at the end. So that would be the villain that I would, bring up during our conversation today. Not as deep as Scooter on these.
I love it. Go ahead, Scooter.
No, I just wanted to say one quick thing because I just noticed Natasha's brought up two DC characters, and that is very, very interesting. And my nerddom just pop off all the time. And the Joker is such an interesting villain in the ways that, one, that he's been portrayed and who he is as a person. Sometimes the Joker's played as a sociopath. Sometimes the Joker's played as a psychopath. And in all cases, Batman could end him, but never does. Never does. So then the question starts to be begged, what is wrong with Batman that he will never end this? Does he need this guy? So it starts to get complicated. But it is, as you said, nobody starts out to be a villain. It is a matter of circumstance and a matter of choice. Most villains believe they are doing the right thing. They believe that they are doing the right thing. And unfortunately, that's how history records it. Because, if they win, they're not the villain. They are the revolutionary. They are the savior. They are the founder. They are the creator. They are, forefathers.
It's all in the perspective. It's all in the perspective and the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
Exactly.
What lens are you looking through? What does it look like through your lens? Oh, that's good. We're going to talk about that. You know what? We're going to talk about it right now. So when it comes, because again, we all are creative. Everyone right now are creative. And I know that it doesn't, let's say this. Sometimes we find ourselves teaching ourselves. Like we're creating things and putting it out here to the world to teach others or to enlighten others or to make others laugh or whatever our purpose is to put it out there. Do we find ourselves learning from our own teaching? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, it's like we got to get it first, right? We got to get it first. Like you said, you got to see if it makes you laugh first, But there's also lessons in the laughter, right?
Yes.
I love it. Elaborate. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Whoever.
Yeah. I gotta know why I'm laughing. You know. So I'm gonna put a scenario out there for y'all. Okay. So think of a really, 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 really good friend. Really good friend. Okay. Y'all love this person. It's y'all person. Y'all dig them. All right. And they slip and fall.
Mhm.
You know. And it's not a great fall. Okay. It's not a great fall. Now, right before they fell, they called you out your name. Yeah. Yeah. See. See. Now.
I had a few thoughts, but I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's what it turns out to be. In that moment, in that time, what am I laughing at? Am I laughing at my friend for falling? Am I laughing because my friend just did something nasty to me and karma, or the Lord decided that was too ugly for that to happen? What am I laughing at? And that is part of it. I try to make sure that anytime I am laughing, it is not out of malice, you know, and I hope that it's coming from a place of love. Because if my friend who failed can't laugh, then in my opinion, it's not funny anymore, you
Mm.
know. And that is the difference. That is the thing that we don't quite get as children. You know what I'm saying? We'll hit our best friend over the head with a book because we think it's funny, but if my best friend is unconscious,
Yeah, it's not so
maybe
funny
they,
anymore. Right?
Right.
but we don't have that gauge there. No, as adults, we have the gauge. It's just a matter of when we decide to look at it, and that is how I kind of determine. All right, I'm gonna laugh at you because first you wait till I see blood, and you want to make sure they all right. That's what you want.
You
First,
okay?
any blood, and then the second thing you want to do is make sure your camera is rolling. So I'm going to talk about
We can watch it later.
No evidence.
it.
Oh goodness.
This is
Oh, goodness.
awesome. This is
Yes,
awesome. Tasha,
it
what's your
is.
perspective?
I will tell you, especially being in this technology space, right, where there's so many different ways to put out your creations, I'm always learning. And I think, again, when we talk about being creative, that's part of it, right, is being lifelong learners. Most creatives, you'll find they're always reading, they're always on this quest for knowledge. And so I shock myself sometimes, I'll be honest with you, because when I have an idea, like I was saying earlier, I'm not sure how it's going to come out. And so I start looking at YouTube. I start reading books. I start asking people, how did they do it? How did they think about it? What are some of the pitfalls that they've experienced? So that way, sometimes I don't have to bump my head to get to the end result. So the learning piece of it, I think, is just so critical, but also looking for others that have done it before that can teach you and show you how to do it. And then once you start, then you start to really also put your own spin on it, right? So then it really becomes yours. So I think just knowing that there are a lot of resources out there to help you, um, allows you then to be more creative in what you're putting out.
Yes, ma'am. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, last question. I know that a lot of times being a creative or a creator is a personal journey, right? So it's one person doing it. But how important is the community? Is it not important to have a community around you? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Absolutely.
Okay. Talk to me about your community, whether it's your loved ones, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your kids. Talk to me about how important it is to have that community and the constructive criticism that it may bring, y'all. Let's talk about that. All right, go ahead. Start us out, Scooter. Start us out.
All right. So, yeah, this is what I will say about community. When it comes to an artist, the biggest thing is support. That is
Mhm.
the biggest and most difficult thing because we all want to support because we, in the beginning, we are supporting on um, misguided information, so to speak, or misinformation. Um, somebody who has a talent, you know, let's just say singing or acting, those are the easiest things to look at. And you're like, oh my God, this is going to be great, so on and so forth. I'm going to support you. But you don't realize what support means or how long it takes for somebody to be, you know, working their craft versus being paid for their craft. So there are people who, want to support you because they're seeing the lights, they're seeing the money, they're seeing the financial benefits and everything, but they don't see, the 4 or 5 years of work it's going to take to get there. We
Yes.
don't realize when we see somebody on TV that we are literally seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
We say things like overnight success. It's never overnight.
Never.
You can gain overnight popularity, you know, but the success part is not the overnight part. Somebody has put in a lot of work before everybody, or some people have noticed what it is that they're doing. So the problem starts to become, depending on, and this is for people who are supporting. Okay. Supporting an artist is understanding that one, it's not a 9 to 5. That's not how art shows up. You can structure it that way if you want to, and some people have been able to. But most people that I've seen that have been able to do that already have everything else together. If somebody is just starting off, they they need every free moment they can to do their art, which means sometimes they have to work, take care of kids, and do all the other stuff. Support is just that, being that village, showing up, bringing them some soup, you know, taking the kids, things like that. That is support. It's not just sitting in the studio with them or any of that other stuff or pitching ideas. It is providing that artist time. And that's all that other stuff is. The reason why people can do these things is because they have time. That's it. Me alone, I have 24 hours. But if I have somebody supporting me, they now have 48 hours. And if I get
Yes.
another person to support me, I now have 72 hours. So
Yes.
that's how support works. Okay? It's
Yes.
not showing up at the show saying, "Can I get in for free?" No. That is not support. That is not support. That is me supporting you. Because now you just took $10 or $20 off the door, which was probably coming to me. That's not supporting me.
Love
Let
it.
me
Supporting,
Love
add to that too, Scooter, because you need those $20 too. Support shows up in a whole lot of ways.
it.
So
Yes.
you need them to show up at the shows. They should be the first ones buying the tickets, right? And making sure that you're making the money. And that's the same thing when we're creating books or content and resharing. And Daryl, you have an amazing conference that's coming up next year. There's no way that you could pull it off without people raising their hands and being there to be a part of your conference, and also people buying tickets. So the support shows up in so many different ways, whether it's someone also, my daughter, she has a very keen eye, and so I have her read through all of my books, all of my content,
Yes.
and she picks out the smallest things because I've read it over and over again and I miss it. If I'm doing illustrations, I have the babies. I bring in the babies too. And they look at it. And if they don't like the content and they're not asking to look at it again, then I know I'm not going in the right direction. They say, Nana, we want to see little sugar plums. I'm like, okay, I'm on to something, right? So support is so important, and everybody plays a role. It could be small, it could be large, but no matter where you fall in, just know that it's appreciated and it's needed.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Yes. Right, brother. Right. Woo. Woo. Y'all saying something tonight, ain't y'all?
Scooter and I told you we were going to make sure this was a fun event, but we were going to leave some nuggets out there too for people.
Yes. Thank y'all for the golden
absolutely.
nugget.
Absolutely. This is this is
Yes.
this is I love all of this. I love being able to share. I love being able to talk to people, and that's the thing about all of this. There's a reason to gatekeep sometime, and then there's some time to fling that gate wide open. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when it comes to giving people access, which is always the other thing, we
Hmm.
want everybody to have as much access to all the things, because the more access we give to more people, the more beauty we get. It's that simple.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Especially with us talking about resilience and the ability to adapt and recover. Being able to adapt and recover through stressful
Mhm.
and challenging times. It's not like because we all are creatives that we don't have challenges. It's not like we
Hmm.
don't have sometimes that is stressful to figure out the next idea. Sometimes writer's block, it is real, y'all. Writer's block is real. To give you all something new all the time is real. Like it's real to try to figure it out. I know that when you talk to Scooter, you think he's just always funny. Well, sometimes he's got to think about being funny, y'all. Sometimes he ain't in the mood to be funny. Sometimes it's serious. It's real serious right now. And he don't want to be funny. Sometimes Nana don't have a story today. Sometimes storying ain't storying,
Yes.
y'all. Sometimes the motivation ain't motivating.
Yes.
Again, I said we gotta get it ourselves. We gotta be in the mood to be funny. We gotta
That's
be in
right.
the mood to tell you a story. We gotta be in the mood to motivate you. Because sometimes we just be like, listen, I'm not answering my phone, I'm not answering a text. I just need some time to just woosah, right? Right? And that's okay. That's okay. As a creator, it is okay, right? Because a lot of times we feel like we're letting people down, right? And we're not. We're not letting people down. In order for us to keep giving you what you need, we got to get what we need. And that's what this is all about, is being able to pour into ourselves, or pour from each other. You all are pouring into me right now, as I hope I'm pouring into you all. And that way we can continue to pour into the world. We are going to
Hmm.
move to the next segment called What the Meme Mean. Now tell me what the meme means.
What the meme mean? What the meme mean?
Whoa, I said you become what you surround yourself with. Woo! You become what you surround yourself with. Energies are contagious. Yes.
Indeed.
Let's talk about that, because
Indeed.
being creative, there are things out here called dream stealers. People will try to steal all the greatness that you possess if you
Oh,
let
yeah.
them. You can touch the wrong hand and that energy is transferred. You can lean on the wrong person and that energy is transferred. You know, there
Mhm.
is some energy transference going on that can drain us when we allow ourselves to be attached to the wrong people too long. Let's talk about that. Can y'all shine light on being attached to the wrong energies, or the wrong, the wrong people,
Oh,
places, environments? Go ahead, Scooter. You sound like
yeah.
you got something to say. Scooter
Good is
has something
ready.
to
Well, man. Okay. Well, first of all, I used to, really, really get into that whole you are what you surround yourself with. You are who you surround yourself with. You know what I mean? And I at first I didn't quite understand it, because everybody around me was taller than me, and I didn't get past 5'4". It threw me off. I was like, It's a lie. It's a lie," until I really realized what it was that they was talking about, and how that actually would influence and affect me, and I started looking at the different stages of my life and the friends that I kept around me and what those friends were doing, you know.
Hmm.
And then when I really saw it was when I got out here and became an adult in California, and I started to see, hey, if I'm trying to be in the music industry, I need to hang around people who are in the music industry. You
right.
know, I
Yeah.
can't hang around the people who are not doing the thing, because the people who are not doing the thing are not adding to what it is that I'm trying to do. And you
Hmm.
can find yourself around people who are um like Daryl was saying, it's they're pulling your energy. And
Yeah.
they're pulling your energy because they believe something differently than you believe. And it's just slight enough, you know, because they are not on board with your dream. They are on board with what your dream can give them, you know.
Woo!
And then
Woo!
when what it is that you are doing no longer serves them, then they are no longer um, behind that dream the same way. You know, now it's, well, I would give you a ride, but I ain't got no gas.
Mm.
Oh, well, let me give you some gas money. You know what? Even if you gave me some gas money, I got to do such and such, you
Yeah.
know? And then they make you feel like, you know, a certain way because it's one of those things of I can't do nothing for you. But then the moment they need something from you, oh, that
Mm-hmm.
obligation bell is ringing.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I'm
Ring,
saying?
ling, ling,
Oh,
ling, ling.
right. So what? We don't remember back. Oh, so okay. So we going back to the score now. Now we're keeping
Right.
score again. So when I need your help because you don't feel it's significant, you know what I'm saying? It's not happening. But everything you need is an emergency and everything is dire. And
Mm.
because in the past, I've been there for you for all that stuff, then I have to continue.
Mm.
It's no longer
Love
serving
stops
the
here.
overall purpose. Now everything is just serving you.
Mm.
And if that's the way somebody is comfortable living, then cool. But for me as a creative, the moment I stop serving my dream, you know, and start trying to serve what I feel is a supporter, you know,
Mm-hmm.
based on
Ooh.
obligation and guilt, then no, that's not what it is no more, you know.
Yeah.
And so I need to get that person away from around me.
That's
Period.
right. That's right. That's
You got
right.
to go
That's
because now
right.
I can see what kind of person you are. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's a term albatross. You
Mm.
know, big old ginormous bird. You know, and people will say that all the time. Somebody's an albatross around your neck.
Mm.
And sometimes we get played with that constantly, and we can't see the weight of the thing for the beauty of what it is. Oh, that is a
Ooh.
magnificent, gigantic bird.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. You do know it's keeping your ass here. Yeah.
Right.
Look how beautiful it is. You know, so there are those things. We have to be willing to let some of those things go, you know,
Yeah.
and surround yourself with not only people who want to see you succeed, but people who want to be successful because
Yes.
they have insight, you know,
Yes.
and their entire world isn't you. Their world or, you know, the motivations will start to line up a little bit. You know, we all want success. So
Yes.
let's all figure out how to be successful. How can
Yes.
I lend what it is that I do to your success, you know, because then if you get successful, what I lent to you will then come back to me and help me in that same vein, you know. So
Yes.
again, make sure you got good people around you who are into, like y'all been saying, the pouring into of
Yes.
each other, you know,
Yes.
and that is why I said in my cup there's water, you know, because if I got soda and you got orange juice, it's gonna be nasty when I pour it in there, you know. And whatever it is you got, you know, it's
But if we all got water, we good,
anyway.
right?
I mean, yeah, you'll be a little mad, you know, but but your orange juice still tastes like orange juice.
To bring us home, talk to me a bit.
So, I will not ever proclaim to be a football buff, but there are some games that usually stand out in my head. And a few weeks ago, I don't know if you guys saw, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was the Chargers and the Lions that were playing. And the Lions, they've had a winning streak and they have been doing so well, but they were behind, I think, like 13 points, and it was maybe like fourth quarter, game almost over, right? And in their mind, they probably thought, I don't know how we're going to do this, but you could still see that they were in the game, right? And it wasn't one person in the game. It wasn't just coach pulling for the team. It was everybody on the same page. And at the end, they kicked a field goal. There were a lot, I'm telling you, there was a lot happening in that game, a lot of turnovers, all of that, right? But they kicked a field goal and they won. And that's the power about surrounding yourself with people that see the glass half full versus half empty, right? And you're all pulling together. You're all rowing together. Because if there's somebody that's on your team that's feeling defeated or that's negative or is not seeing anything, changing or that can turn around, you start to believe that. Then it starts to infiltrate your system, right? And that's the meme that you shared. That's the power of surrounding yourself with the right people, especially as being a creator. Is people saying, you know what? Maybe it didn't work that way, but have you tried this way? You know, maybe it didn't work this time, but if you go back again and you have an audience, like Scooter was saying, what may work for one might not work for the other. So maybe you're in the wrong audience. Maybe you
Yes.
need, but that's the power of surrounding yourself with people where they have a positive outlook versus seeing the negative aspect of everything, right? And I'm not saying anything is wrong with people that have a negative thought process because sometimes, again, like we talked about the joke, it could be things that have happened in their life that have brought them to that, but it's not up to us always to correct it, right? But we have to understand what we need to be successful to move forward so that way we can continue to have a positive impact in the world. Because like Scooter's doing, he's trying to make everybody laugh, enjoy, see things in a different light. That's what creators do. And for me, I want to celebrate grandparents and I want to educate children, right? So we have views of how we're trying to make an impact in the world. And the only way we can do that is if we surround ourselves with people that will help us get to that vision.
Yes. Look, listen. You can't express enough how much I am full already off of what Scooter, Daryl, and Natasha have said tonight. Like, it is deeper than just the scripts. It is deeper than the stage. But someone has to highlight these things that are going on in the world. It has to be highlighted because there's a deeper story, a deeper meaning beneath the laughs, a deeper meaning between the books, deeper meaning beneath the YouTube channels. Someone has to do the teaching. And we know that as a teacher, we get a harder punishment because of what we're putting out here. But it still has to be taught. And sometimes our teachings are tough love, meaning it ain't easy to hear. It don't taste good. It feels good. But in the end, it is good for you. There are movies that we watch, and we have watched several times, that have a good storyline. It reminds us of something that we have been through or something that we know someone else has been through, but it also gives us a different lens to look through so that we can do something differently, so that we can become something different, so that we can empower ourselves as we empower others. So this thing is bigger than the characters or the plot. But we need all of those things to dig deeper to give you all the meat and potatoes to help you grow, to help you reach a new level, new heights in your life. And another thing is what you may get out of it ain't what this person is getting out of it. How many times have we heard a story, we watched the movie, and we all watched it together, but everybody got something totally different out of this story? Totally different. And the reason we different is because we have had different experiences in our lives where it may resonate with me totally different because I was that woman in that movie, or I was that mom to that child in that movie, or that story. See, a lot of times we have to find out, where do we fit in? Why am I watching this? Why am I reading this? But there's always a reason. Nothing happens by coincidence. Nothing. We have to find the meaning behind everything that's happening in our lives. We have to find the lesson to everything that's happening in our lives. It's not just because the higher power, God, whatever you believe in, just didn't have nothing else to do. Nothing else to do. And was like, hey, let's just throw this in the air and see what happens. No. People pass you for a reason. You hear conversations for a reason. You read things for a reason. You laugh at things for a reason. Things happen in our lives for a reason. And these two guests tonight have taken theater, art, and have given you golden nuggets for you to meditate on to become a better version of yourself. And if we are aiming to become better versions of ourselves every day, little by little, you don't have to make enormous steps, just little steps. In those little steps, you will start to see the world totally different. You will no longer feel like a victim. You will recognize when you are volunteering. You're a victim in the beginning, maybe. But you keep going back to the same mess and craziness and circles and connections and community. You are no longer a victim anymore. You're now volunteering for what's happening in your life. But these two guests tonight just gave you an out. They're expressing to you that even when things are challenging, even when things are stressful, read a book, laugh. Learn to find a reason to step out on faith and do something different. It's okay to fall down, y'all. The big piece is getting back up. And as long as you got legs to stand on, if you ain't got legs, flip over to a handstand. If you ain't got no hands, lean on your elbow. If you ain't got no elbow, lay on your side. If you ain't got no side, stand on your head. But get up and make some changes in your life. I challenge you today to make some changes in your life. Here's the challenge. Who's up for the challenge? Dare to be brave. Dare to be different. Dare to be weird. Because we always hear weird and we're like, oh, that person's so weird. They're weird to you because they're doing something that you never, ever thought of doing. So to you, they're weird or they're crazy or, but it's the weird and crazy people that make the world go round. They're the motivators. You see this weird man tonight, my brother, weird. But I love him, and y'all do too, because y'all been laughing the whole time. I already know. But he's weird. But his weird self is needed in all of our lives. I'm sure all of us have a weird brother, a weird friend, a weird coworker, and that is the person you look to go to every time your life is life. You go find the weird friend. I know you do. Because that friend don't care. That friend don't have a filter. That friend gonna tell you what you're doing, the way you're doing it, and try to help you find a way to do it better. So call my brother weird. He don't care. He makes weird look good. And my sister, Natasha, listen. She's a nana, she's a mother, she's an auntie, she's a mentor. She got 9 jobs, none. But she's phenomenal. She can't stop, won't stop. She comes through. She's there to educate you, to mold you, to better you, to help you see the you that you can't see, to push you through all the mess, all the noise, all the funk. And you need those type of people in your life. Because you don't want to be pushed. Sometimes we just want to stay stagnant and just wallow in our mess. But then you got those friends that's like, hey, I'm just doing a wellness checkup because I can't let you stay right there. So you need those type of people. You need those brave people. Dare to be resilient. Rise above everything that's going on in your life. We all have traumas. We all have triggers. We all have habits. We all have things that we're working through every day. But dare to do something different. Dare to be brave in your life. Dare to do something you have never done. And I'm telling you, you will go into a new chapter of your life of someone you don't even know yet. That is a phenomenal side of you that gives you life, that gives you excitement, that you can now find your purpose and your passion. If you would but tap in to the weird side of you. Now I am going to bring these phenomenal personalities back on to give you their final pours for tonight. The final words that they want to say to you. If so far you have liked what you have heard, please like, subscribe, and bang that bell so you don't miss any content. It is the end of the year, y'all. We've been rocking Cups and Conversations since January. This is 11 episodes in. I am so excited about it. And I am telling you, we are coming stronger and harder and funnier and better and realer in the year. So keep it coming because we're ready for you. Let me bring my brother back on so he can give his final words. Scooter.
First of all, sis, I so appreciate this so much. This has been way too much fun. Uh, Hopefully, I can get invited back. This is too much fun for me. Um, my final pour would be simply this. Um, Imagine how you were treated in the situation, and then imagine how you would have wanted to be treated in that situation.
Mm,
Then do that.
mm.
That's it.
I love
We've
it.
all had it. It's been done to us, whether it be, somebody at the bank, somebody at the grocery store, somebody driving in front of us, you know. Um, let's give each other a little bit of grace. A little bit. It takes just as much energy to say, hey, take trash out than it does to call somebody out their name and say, take the trash out. It's all the same. So a little bit of grace. And Willow is the greatest movie ever made.
All right. So if you want to learn a little bit more about playwriting or, just me in general, go ahead and send an email to the Table Read Collective at gmail.com. Again, I know you got to write it all the way out, but you only got to do it once. The Table Read Collective at gmail.com.
Natasha, your final pours.
Yes, absolutely. I have enjoyed laughing with Scooter tonight. And Dara, I echo the same thoughts. Thank you so much for having us on. And I too hope that I get invited back. I will tell you, as I was just sitting and listening and just enjoying this moment with you all this evening, the one thing that keeps coming to mind is that life happens to all of us, right? There's no one person in this world that has not been through a situation that has been tough. And when life happens, sometimes we're able to get up and rise to the challenge and get over it ourselves. And other times we might need a little bit of help, right? So the resilience that we talk about tonight, you don't have to go at it alone. Find your tribe, find your community. And even if you need to go to outside sources, right, getting a counselor, a life coach, finding a church community, whatever works for you, it's different for everybody, but you find what works for you. and get through it, because on the other side is that pot of gold, right? And when you think about things that you've been through before that you did not think you would overcome, and you did, just know that this too shall pass, right? So, like Daryl said, don't wallow, don't lay down, figure out how to get up, how to make it better. And then when you get through it, I always say, don't forget that there's somebody else that's going to need you. Reach your hand back and help somebody else, right?
Yes.
You've gone through a situation to be better in this world and help others to be better. Use your story, use your experience, use the tools that you've been equipped with to help others get through challenges. Each one teach one. It's about all of us surviving this life together and making one another better. That's what it's all about. If we're not helping each other, if we're not making each other better, then why are we here? Awesome. If you want to hear more about what I'm doing as a Nana, you can go to Instagram and search for Nana and Company. And it's actually NANA and then the amp sign, CO dot. And there's not a whole lot of content. I'm just starting, but please follow me and I will share some inspirations with you. And then I'll also be publishing my books there for you to see, that I will be publishing on Amazon. And you can also go to my YouTube channel, which is called Little Sugar Plums. And please subscribe and share the content with your kiddos, with your nieces, your nephews. I know that they're going to enjoy all of the things that have been uploaded. And I also have some more content that I'll be uploading in the next few weeks.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Standing ovation for the guest for tonight. Curtains closed. This has been a scene to remember for these creators. Bravo and brava. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Cups and Conversations. Here's the next time.